gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. Today we're going to do 6 miles. Actually, got to tighten my sneaker. Hope you enjoy the view of the ground. Should have done this before I was walking. My apologies. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. If not, my apologies. Nice to be 57 years old, still be able to bend over and tie my sneakers without getting on a knee. It's the little things, folks. It's the little things. And this is a walking vlog, basically for exercise, 50 and over 50. Hi. So, got the lilac bushes coming out. Pretty nice. Isn't that nice? Looks like somebody threw out a sink and a bathroom cabinet. They must have replaced their stuff. We did that last year. So right now it's starting to rain. That's all it's been doing. So I want to get my walk. It's windy. It's chilly. It's in the 40s. Not exactly wonderful spring weather, even for Maine. It's a bit off. We are, however, going to have a nice week in the 70s. So, I knew it was going to rain on this walk, which is why I'm using the head cam instead of the selfie stick. Until I get my blood flow up, my hands will be cold. So I got them in my pockets. Welcome to Maine, folks. Welcome to Maine. Maine is one of those places where you have to understand the trade-offs. You can live down south somewhere. You got a nice place off the beaten path with a house and some land. It's a great thing. But if you're going to live down south in the city and have better weather year-round and warmer weather, that's fine. But one thing Maine can offer you is peace and quiet, space to breathe and to move. It's very rural. These walks that I go on, it's in the second largest city in the state. And as you can tell, not very many people live here. About 37,000. Just a few miles in either direction. You get lakes, hiking trails, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go on hiking trails every day, so I walk in the city, mostly in town, I should say. So as my blood flow increases, my blood vessels will open up in my feet and my hands, and they will get warmer. Usually at about the mile mark. We just hit a little over half a mile, so I should start feeling that kick in. And I don't anticipate any downpours. We'll get some sun trying to break through, but it's raining right now. It's that kind of thing. We've been in a funk for almost a week now, weather-wise. But as you can see, everything that's green has benefited from it. So we will be going for a woods hike, soon, not today. And we didn't have range day today. Plus my younger brother wasn't feeling well today, so we probably would not have had range day anyway. Beautiful day today, even though it's cloudy and cool. Everything still looks nice. Excuse me. Oh, somebody broke a bottle, threw something glass out of the car on the way by. I really hate that. People walk their dog, the dog will get some glass in their little paws. If you do stuff like that, folks, you're an asshole, alright? Plain and simple. Don't do that. The mosquito swamp is doing well, it looks like. This is a little trail that, as you can see by the sign that says trail, pretty clever, huh? This is a trail that goes to down by the school. There's a school way down there. So we won't be going that way, but it's nice to see trails looking like trails again. Been a few days since I've walked in the daytime, I think. This being Saturday. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hopefully we'll be going shooting tomorrow. Well, what I was saying about Maine is you have to understand the seasons and why it's cool to have different seasons. Yes, it can get chilly. You have added things you have to deal with, like more heating fuel cost, a lot more than what you're accustomed to down south, which down south you probably barely have any heating cost. I actually put the furnace on for a spritz yesterday just to get the house warmed up to the 60s. It had dipped down to the mid 50s inside the house. So we're almost into June and I just had the heat on, so that's what I'm talking about. And that's atypical. It's not something that usually happens here. Kind of a weird spring so far. We've had this funky weather pattern of overcast and rain, so the high temperature hasn't cracked 60 in about a week. I do like having more room to walk on this side since they did the road work. They took out a lot of this stuff that was on the side of the road. Brush, I mean. Because before you'd have to walk on the road like I am now. And now I can actually have room to walk over here off to the side, which is definitely a lot safer. So I was watching Friday night videos, 1.5 hour block recorded from TV. I like watching those because I used to watch Friday night videos in the 80s. And that's where they had a lot of the current pop hits, you know, Phil Collins, Billy Joel, Tears for Fears, things like that, Culture Club, some cool 80s pop music, which at the time I thought was okay, but I was into heavy metal really big at the time I was young. But it's still nice to watch these. And what's interesting is a lot of it has the commercials left in it. The advertisements, TV ads. which I thought was very interesting, especially for the RCA music discs. They were full-size laser discs, 12-inch laser discs, okay? And they had music videos, or a music video. So they marketed these as laser disc kind of singles, and talking about how you can watch your music. That was the new thing, watch your music videos. So some bands had music videos, and RCA was issuing some of their artists on video. I thought that was really cool. And I don't remember ever seeing any one of those units in person or the music discs. So I thought that was a really cool commercial. I was thinking, oh, that never caught on. Probably because they were bulky like the laser discs they tried to promote, which ended up going away with DVDs in the early 90s, which DVDs obviously are much better, more compact. And I have to say, I still have a lot of old DVDs in letterbox format or full screen that still play well. They haven't deteriorated the same way that the audio discs have with CD rot, it's called. At least not that I've noticed. And of course, movie DVDs are not played as much as audio discs, so I wonder if that has something to do with it. Don't know. CD rot, by the way, is if you hold your old vintage CDs up, the ones that have printing on them with graphics, so you can't see the laser foil, if you know what I mean. They'll have like the band's album cover on there. Those are okay. It's the ones that just had printed text on them with maybe the band logo or artist name. Those are the ones that get what you call CD rot, where if you hold it up to the light, you can see little pinholes in the information. And I have some of those, but they still work fine, they still play, they don't skip or anything, so I guess it's nothing to really worry about. All of my original Metallica CDs have that because they had the band logo and the album information printed on it, but it doesn't have the screened graphics. So I thought that was interesting. I thought I'd share that. It's still a cool technology. Newer CDs, mastered for CDs, sound pretty good. And you can also get lossless audio. Digital discs that cost a little bit more, but they sound pretty much as good as the Studio Master. I have heard a couple of those in person at someone's house. Extremely impressed by that. Those are really good. It's like a Blu-ray. It's like a Blu-ray audio disc. It has all of the audio information. It's not compressed because there's room to put it on there. Some of the first CDs that came out sound like MP3s. And if you know what MP3s sound like, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get that compressed, which you can hear on S's on the vocals, and you can hear on the hi-hats. They go tss, tss, tss. It sounds kind of, it doesn't sound crisp like it does in person. $320K MP3s are the worst quality I will use because they sound the best. 128 and 240 whatever or a variable bit rate. Never really been impressed with those. And it's kind of funny because, you know, I have a whole bunch of MP3 downloads, because you buy a vinyl record and you'll have a download card. So of course I download them because, you know, I paid for them. And I don't even think I've ever listened to any of them I've downloaded. I just don't listen to MP3s. I don't listen to digital music that much. CDs I'll play maybe once a month, twice a month. And those will be artists that I don't have on vinyl that I want to listen to. So a lot of the 90s stuff, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, a lot of stuff like that, a lot of heavy metal, death metal. I have all of that stuff on CDs, tons of it. So they just weren't making vinyl in the 90s to buy, period. So there you have it. It's okay, and you also have to acknowledge that you cannot own everything on vinyl or otherwise. You just can't. It's, you know, I'd like to have all of this stuff by Filter, for example, on vinyl. I did manage to, certain bands are easier to get on vinyl if you're willing to go out of your way to get them, and sometimes pay a little more. Primus is another band I really absolutely love a whole bunch. Saw them live, I was blown away by that, which is why it's important for bands to play live, which opens up this whole other thing about YouTube artists, I'll call them. There'll be one person playing an instrument, albeit very well, but they don't have a band to go see live. A lot of them don't. Some of them do, but they don't tour around anymore. They use the internet to get themselves out there. So I don't know how that works out for some of these people. There's a girl that plays heavy metal on YouTube. She's incredible. She's in her early 30s, much better at guitar than I'll ever be. And she does live streams on YouTube, and she plays with the band. Sometimes she live streams it, but it's always a practice room. There's no gigs. And you know, I think that's a lost art form these days, because a lot of people that perform live nowadays are blues artists, things like that. They'll play in small clubs. And Samantha Fish is a good example. She's really good blues guitarist, excellent, and she's pleasant to look at too. She's always wearing skirts and playing guitar, and there's nothing more sexy than that. The women that playing guitar and they look nice and have a stage presence, great voice. And then there's a couple other ones which aren't so pleasant to look at, and they're also awesome to see live. So there's a lot of artists out there that are very good that are being limited by technology. And I know it sounds funny to say that, but that's why when somebody got signed to a record label back in the day, generally speaking, there was something admirable about them that was good talent-wise, whether it was a new look, new sound, or just a good chemistry, good talent. You had to have something to get signed. So nowadays people don't do that stuff. Everybody has access to recording software, digital instruments, synthesized, programmed. You don't even have to know how to play keyboards. You know, you just play a guitar part and give the software the chords you're playing, what key you're in, and the tuning, and you can make keyboard parts by yourself. A lot of the digital stuff now sounds pretty realistic. Back in the 80s and 90s, when you heard a drum machine, you knew it was a drum machine. Nowadays, sometimes it's hard to tell because they're emulating the acoustic qualities very well. So, and you know, that has a lot of pluses. If you've ever tried to be in a band, I've been in a couple, finding a drummer that's going to stick with it, who's also good, is almost impossible unless you live in a big, large populated area and increase your odds of finding someone you can jam with. And what I mean by jam is I mean gel, to gel with chemistry wise. And when you do find a good drummer, the problem you have is a lot of times they'll be late to practice, or they will miss the practice because they practiced with another band they're in. So a lot of them will be in 2, 3 different bands. So it was never easy back in the day, and it was a lot of work, and now there's a lot less work because you don't need a drummer. You do live, but for what I was talking about, you know, you just be a guitar player with vocals and a bass player. I see a lot of videos like that on YouTube, and they're really good. And they have a drum machine that sounds like real drums. And they have music videos they made, and they're quite good. So from an artistic point of view, you know, it's not really anything to complain about there, to be honest. Seriously. And a lot of these people go on YouTube and they get monetized, and they probably make more money from YouTube than they would if they were gigging. So, and plus it's also easier for people to see you. There have been people on YouTube discovered by labels. They watch those too, and if you get label support, things are a lot easier to tour around in if you have gas money to do it with, in other words. And problem is, though, is most of these labels that fund that stuff pretty much own you by the cojones financially. Even back in the day, it was similar to that. Van Halen really didn't start making a lot of money until their second album, because they had to incur the cost that the record label spent, flying them around, hotel rooms, food, staff, roadies. These people don't do all that stuff for free, and so the record label pays that. And yeah, their first album sold a lot. The label got their money back and then some, and the band did get some money, but not as much as they would have had they done that. So that's how that goes, and that gives you an idea how much money Metallica has made, because that was very similar for them when they started out. Anthrax too. They actually used to make a joke where they would have Wish sandwiches. They had bread and mustard and ketchup, but they wish they had some meat to put in it. So now Metallica's label blackened. It's pretty big because they've had to deal with record labels. They know how everything works, and it's always nice when you can get a band that's big enough to have their own label, because they're going to take care of the other bands on their label that they acquire much better, because they'll understand what it's like. And that reminds me of another story having to do with ice hockey. Bobby Orr, arguably the greatest player besides Wayne Gretzky to ever play ice hockey. His career got plagued by knee injuries, with surgeries at the time that were pretty barbaric compared to today. Oh look, a duck just landed. That is an adolescent duck, and he's away from mama, so he must just be sprouting out on his own, checking things out, here to eat some bugs. Hope he keeps an eye on cats and stuff. So anyway, they have arthroscopic surgery now, where they don't have to cut your whole knee open and stitch it up, which takes months and months to heal. Anyway, basically, the greatest defenseman ever to play ice hockey. During his heyday, was more concerned with playing ice hockey, left all his business affairs to his manager, who stole his money. So he ends up towards the end of his career, almost broke, knees that don't work anymore, and it was a damn shame. So what did he do? Well, he went into managing players. He became an agent. Because he got ripped off, he wanted to make sure people didn't, and at the same time, it was making him money. So that's what he did. And he did well. And he's still doing that today, I believe. He's also got a couple of business ventures. So, you know, that's good. That's when people understand what the business is like, and they want to see people do well, because there's been a lot of instances, like Raymond Bourque played for the Bruins. You know, his agent that he had at the time was not a good guy, and in fact, his agent actually threatened a minor league team manager or owner, I forget the exact story, but threatened him physically, where he sat down and basically told the guy that he's going to give his guy a chance, and he's going to give him good marks, because if he doesn't, you're going to get a visit from somebody and you may get your legs broken. I believe that is an actual conversation. And Ray Bourque in an interview said, well, that's it, my career's over, this was a mistake. And it turned out not to be. But the point is, there are people out there that are looking to make money from you. They don't really care about you. And this person was involved with criminal elements, and probably would have extorted money from him. So it's probably a good thing that that happened early. And the bottom line was, Ray Bourque is a great player. Second best defenseman of all time, in my opinion. So, yeah, there were other ones. Okay, I'm not being a homer Boston Bruins fan, but they just happen to both be Bruins. But it's true. So Ray Bourque went to Colorado and contributed a lot, and they won a Stanley Cup, which is something he lost 2 or 3 of in Boston. So anyways, so, yeah, never know what I'm going to talk about. Looks like the sky is trying to clear up there. The sun's trying to poke out. Tomorrow morning it's going to be cloudy in the 50s. What else is new, right? But in the afternoon the sun is going to come out. We got these. Oh, I wish you could smell these. I really wish you could smell these. Oh. Still spitting raindrops. So we'll walk down this way. Come on, sunshine. I will be out tomorrow. And this week looks really nice. Hopefully we'll be able to string a couple of weeks together. That's a lawn that needs to be mowed. There's probably all kinds of ticks in that lawn. There's another overgrown lawn. Now, I need to mow our lawn, but it's not quite that bad. It's not even close to being that bad. We'll have good weather this week. Got a lot of stuff to do this week. Going to be a busy week. Busy. A little breezy today too, so hopefully there isn't too much wind noise. Hope not. Hope not anyways. I am going to have to stop at the public toilet off the playground up ahead. Drank some liquids before leaving the house. I may have made a mistake. Might have been a mistake. It's okay while you're walking because you get a sweat up. But I'm going to have to use the public facilities. And if it's locked today, I'm going to be upset. I noticed it doesn't have a lock on it, but it looks like you can lock it. So today we saw tall grass, we saw a duck land, and we saw lilacs and blossoms. Life is good. That's a nice little house. Looks like it's for sale. Down this way. see they have it out today. I don't know if you see that. It's a robotic lawnmower. They sell for $1,500 to $2,000, that particular model. It just walks around cutting grass. That's all it does until everything's cut. Uses GPS. Can control it with a phone app. First time and look, it's drove in the water. See the tracks? First time I saw that on this walk, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is that? It's like it better not attack me. So tomorrow at the range we have 2 new scopes to sight on a 17 HMR, and which is the Henry rifle, which is a great rifle by the way, and the 4th Rossi RS-22 with a wood stock. You get a scope mounted on that. I have a black one with a scope, and I have one without a scope, a wood one. And the one I have a scope on has the scope rings, kind of like see-through. You can see through to use your front sights or the scope. So and I'm telling you, those Rossis, you don't even have to set it on any kind of tripod or mount or shoot off a bag on a table. You can just stand there and take careful aim using the scope at 100 yards. And I was picking off little dime or nickel sized little rocks. Amazingly accurate rifle. And I was using basic golden bullets, bulk ammo, Remington, from the bucket of bullets that they sell at Walmart. About $90, and you get a whole bucket of 22s. A virtual crap load of them for cheap, bulk. And that same bucket used to be $60-something before the pandemic. And now it's almost 90. C'est la vie. Breezy today. Hope you're not hearing too much wind noise. I did get some good compliments on my latest 45 ACP video. More of an ammo test than a firearm test. It was kind of both. Hope you enjoyed that. And anyways, trying to think what I can do for range day tomorrow. I'd prefer to have nice sunshine to film in, but we may have clouds with no rain, so that would be good. And then the sun's going to come out later in the morning, so we'll see what we get. Dandelion dander blowing around. That's why everybody's got dandelions. Those things land and plant new dandelions. Whew, hope I don't breathe any of them in. We just hit 3 miles. There we go. The snowstorm of dandelion little parachutes with seeds on them has gone by. Mother Nature repopulating the neighborhood with dandelions. I'm going to hang a left here into the park and use the facilities. That's nice. A lot of people using the park today. I see a lot of, oh, they got a thing out here with balloons. Maybe somebody's birthday or something. They're all minorities, people of color, as it were. Fine with me. As long as you become a citizen, I'm okie dokie with it. Yeah, it looks like a birthday party or something. Got a grill going. Well, this grass needs to be cut. Tall grass here. If anybody's using the restroom. Da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da. It's like aluminum slats. See daylight through them, but they're tight. There we go. Much better. Much better. That's nice. I got a hibachi grill going out here, cooking some food. Get back to walking. I got a good sweat going now. That's a pretty good sized party here. Hanging out, shooting hoops, cooking some food. And I want to reiterate that the problem I have isn't with the people, the migrants. Generally speaking, most of them are great people. Just like most of our relatives that came here from Canada, couldn't speak English, were great people. I get it, I understand it, but we became citizens. They need to become citizens. That's all I care about. And if there's any criminals or people that shouldn't be here, they shouldn't be here. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. I don't want crazy people from Romania either. You know what I'm saying? Or criminals. Romania has a mafia there, and they're pretty brutal. And they're all white people. I don't want them here either. That was a problem we had here with the Italian mafia as well, which has been well documented in books and movies. So, you know, we don't want that stuff. They got into trouble because they became citizens. So what do you do with people that aren't citizens committing crimes when you have judges that won't let you deport them? So here's the liberal household. The gay main flag for your enjoyment. See if that pocketbook is still here. It is. See that? That pocketbook has been there a week and a half now. I don't recall if it was moved at all. Doesn't look like it. Is there a dead person that lives in there? Or somebody abducted off the porch? Somebody old with Alzheimer's lost it? That reminds me, many years ago, I was in my 20s, I think. I had found a pocketbook, and there was hundreds of dollars in it. The old lady had obviously, I found out later, she had cashed her Social Security check. This was before direct deposit and all that stuff. This was years ago, okay? And, you know, I was young, didn't have much money. I could have used that, absolutely. But I returned it to her. Forgot all about it till just now. Isn't that weird? There's well over $1,000 in it. And I knocked on her door. She wouldn't answer the door. She wouldn't answer it, and I could hear her inside. So I was like, well, maybe something's wrong with her. And I knew the address because it was on the ID. So I had to call the police, okay? I called the police. An officer came. I said, look, I found her purse. It's got all this money in it. She obviously needs it, and because she's living in an apartment in this building. She won't answer the door. She's afraid to answer it because some guy is knocking on her door she doesn't know. So he knocks on the door, gets her to open it, and she was so happy to get that money back. I mean, she was losing it, and it made me feel good, you know? She was getting forgetful. And not too long after that, she died. So I think she had Alzheimer's, and she ended up going away. And so anyway, that's my feel-good story for today that I really had not remembered in many years until just now. Her daughter actually thanked me later and told me the whole story. She had Alzheimer's, and she ended up passing away not long after that. So must be a terrible feeling when you have all that money you needed and you just lose it because you misplaced it. So anyway, do what you can do, I guess. Another time in a movie theater, I found the weirdest number too. If you're gonna find money, to have it come out to a lucky number is pretty strange. But I found a wallet the ear just told me I get 3.5 miles. That's why I stopped talking. Found this wallet. There was $777 in the wallet. What is the odds of an amount of money being 3 sevens in a wallet? Now I could have said, oh wow, $777. Wow, this is my lucky day. Nope, I returned it to them and they were happy. That one was maybe 10 years ago. So it's always good to return money you find. Now, if I find a $20 bill in a parking lot, $50 bill, I'm not going to go looking around for somebody to give it back to them. They probably already wrote it off as gone. It's not much money. But if it was $500, that would be different. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, if somebody drops the money and you see them there and say, excuse me, you dropped this, that's fine. Even if it's just $1, $5, I've done that too. But I'm talking about finding large sums of money. So I'm hoping that that pocketbook on that porch finds its way to where it needs to be, and it's just a bag they keep out there with smoking supplies because they like to sit out there and smoke cigarettes because there's an ashtray. I'm assuming something like that, because I know other people live in that building, that house, and somebody would have seen that by now and done something about it, or stolen it, one or the other. And it's still there, so intuition's going to tell me to just leave it there. So, plus I don't want to get involved these days in things because so many people are worried and scared about everybody else. You know, they'll accuse me of stealing it. Or somebody trying to return a purse under false pretense to try to gain entry into somebody's house. You know what I mean? Something like that. So a lot of people are skeptical of other people today. Wish it wasn't the case, but it is. So what if that bag is on that table because there's an elderly woman in there who fell down and broke her hip and she needs help? You know, I don't know. I have no idea. And I hate that. Because you want everybody to be safe, but you can't follow up and check on every damn thing you see. And I don't know. Hope this makes sense. Another thing too is God's always watching you. That's the other thing. Everybody's done something in their life they might not be proud of. Maybe they were in a bad spot at the time. Maybe they had some other issues. Maybe they were addicted to drugs. But there's always time to make amends with people. Hopefully. Very important. So there's something up in the road ahead. I don't know what that is, but that's unusual. I don't know if it's somebody's jacket that flew out the window. It's a dead animal. We shall see. Way, way up there next to the yellow line. I don't know if you can see it. Cars are swerving around it. Hope that's not somebody's pet. I really hate seeing that. Today's not a day I want to see something like that. Yep. All right, we'll see what we run into up ahead here. People are swerving around it, whatever it is. What is it? Hopefully it's just a thing in the road. It's looking like a dark spot now. So we're getting closer. Starting to look more like an object. Maybe something fell off a truck. We'll see as we get closer what the hell that is. It's a little bit like starting to look trash baggy. Looking more and more trash bag like. Well, that's good. I don't have to see any dead animals today. That's the other thing you're going to get with walking. You'll see dead critters. Yep. Definitely a trash bag. I don't know what's in it. There's a bottle sticking out of it. It's got bottles. Somebody lost a trash bag full of empty bottles, it looks like. Because they don't weigh anything, probably blew out of their vehicle. Pickup truck or whatever. Another beeping horn because I got a camera on my head. Take off on a side street. Still spitting raindrops. I guess it constitutes a shower, though it's very sparse. Hi. So we'll walk down this way. Getting hit with raindrops. Nothing severe. The breeze actually feels good because I'm pretty sweaty right now. My hands are toasty warm, blood's flowing. Cool enough to wear leggings again today. You can believe that. Wore them yesterday too. I knew it would be breezy today too. I don't like walking in wind when it's chilly. I just don't. And it is chilly today, make no mistake. You see everybody's wearing hoodies, hands in their pockets. That person's checking her mail. She's all wrapped up. She's got a jacket and a hoodie and her hands in her pockets. Welcome to Maine, mister. So I saw a Maine Wire article today, local independent journalism, and they're trying not to abide by this transgender stuff by using politically correct content, so they just say what things are. And the thing is, though, is in the article they were talking about a trans woman who was a man who murdered his wife. Stabbed her multiple times in New Hampshire, okay? There's a rash of trans violence because a lot of people that are trans have mental issues, but they're not all violent, okay? Some of these guys hate women, they really do. So, anyway, murdered his wife, stabbed her multiple times, and the news article says, trans man murders wife. Well, I know they're trying to call that person a man, but the whole article was made confusing, and I actually had to go research because it says it's a trans male. Okay, a trans man. A trans man is a woman transitioning into a male. So, and a trans woman is a male transitioning to a woman, which can't be done. You can't change sexes. So that's what the Maine Wire is trying to cater to. They shouldn't call it that, because it just made the entire article confusing. And so what they should say, trans identifying male, okay? That automatically tells you it is a male that is trans identifying as something else. And you're still calling them a male, because they are. So when you have a woman that is transitioning to a male, it should be a trans identified woman. See what I'm saying? It's not what they said in the article. And they said a trans man murdered his wife. Okay, well, if a liberal wrote the article, a trans man would be a female transitioning to a male, and they're respecting their pronouns by calling him him. He killed his wife. So you read the article, reading the article, you can't tell if the person that killed his wife is male or female. the whole article did not make sense, and I let them know it. You know, just use trans-identified male. That means trans woman, okay? It accomplishes the same thing, and it doesn't confuse the reader. Because in New Hampshire and nationally, a female can marry another female. So a trans man marrying a female is a female marrying a female. And this guy killed his wife. So that was something else in the article. It's like, well, what is it, you know? What the hell's going on here? So they went and screwed up everything, and now nobody even knows how to write about it. Trans woman murders somebody, nobody knows what to say. It's real simple. Trans identifying male. That's it. It's a male that identifies being trans. So if they're male and they're trans, they're trying to be the appearance of a female. It's pretty simple, really. Then you would have a female would be a trans identifying female, woman. Put the word identify in there, since they like to identify with everything. Self-ID. I'm a dog today. I'm a fox tomorrow. I'm an elephant next week. I am a lesbian the week after, and I'll be a gay male the week after that. So it's like self-ID is really the issue. You can't be something just because you believe you're that. You know, I can't identify as a brain surgeon. Or the greatest six-shooter in the West. You know, can't just say, I'm the greatest six-shooter in the West, and not have people go, what? Are you crazy? Are you mentally ill? And again, like I have said many times on my walks, I really could care less who is a transsexual. May the power be with you. Find your true happiness or whatever the hell. But, you know, leave out this neo-Marxist transgender ideology bullshit. Nobody cares for it. There's a lot of trans people that are actually upset about that because they just wanted to live in peace and quiet, not bother anyone. And these other people went and stirred the pot and pissed everybody off, including them. That makes sense. So up ahead here is about when the battery is going to give out. I'll have to change that in a minute. May as well do it now, right? Alright, got a new battery in. Can't wait to see how that's going to look, what they did to it. They used to have this steel mesh stuff in the belfry up there. Did they install a bell? Did they block up the hole? That was there because they always had bats in there, and pigeons and stuff. I want to see what they've done. So we'll hopefully get a look at that when it's unveiled. The church was built in the 50s. In the 1940s, this used to be a dirt road up this way. lot of the streets in town were cobblestone. They have since paved those over a long time ago, unfortunately. That would have looked absolutely magnificent in the downtown area, like Portland, Maine, where in the old port section they kept all the cobblestones, and they have in Boston as well, but somebody had the brilliant idea of paving it over here, and the cobblestones are still there. Sometimes when they strip the asphalt up, you can see them, but they're pretty buried now, and it's too bad. It's too bad, too bad, too bad. Well, anyway, we'll finish up this walk. A little ways to go. Hang a left up ahead. So today is pretty much the last day of this miserable weather. So that's good. We'll have a little bit tomorrow morning. But this is pretty much the end of it. And blow its way on up into Canada. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Ooh, sun's trying to poke through. Look at that. That's the first time I've seen that in days. It's not even out and it looks nice. Still spitting raindrops. We just hit the 5-mile mark. Voice in my ear says. All right. Somebody cut the hell out of this grass and then stopped before they were done. Maybe they realized it was a lot of work when the grass is wet. Which it is. Cut across here. Looking for deer trails. I could see some tracking right through here. You could see it. So some deer have been coming up through here. A lot of deer around here. We have seen a lot of deer on these walks right in this area. See a trail through here too. See it? You can see it if you look. Little deer come up through here. And you can see when there isn't no trail there. You know, you can see that. And it's not a people trail. This is that area where just up ahead here, I walked into 4 deer standing on that lady's lawn. Scared the bejesus out of me. Come over here. We'll be going for a walk through these woods here pretty soon. Ferns are out. The ferns. Now this is a people trail because the path is beaten down. Oh, ducks, look. mama duck. That looks like a smaller baby duck, not quite juvenile yet. Smaller than the one we saw that had his mother get run over a while back. I'm sure that duck made out okay. From what I read, they adjust pretty well. Got to see some duckies. Hope you liked them too. Whew. Up ahead here we'll hit 6 miles. I got a ways to go still. I'll hang up with you guys. Not really hang up, but I'll end this phone call with you. We'll hang up ahead. I won't give away my age or anything. As long as things start drying out. Starting to see the rainy pattern we saw the year before last, where we had record rainfall. Hopefully it doesn't do this all summer. But the weather looks like it's going to be nice for the next 10 days, so I'm talking 70s. Mid to upper 70s, sunshine. All right, getting hungry. I ate a big, huge plate of rice with fried potatoes and onions before leaving. Well, about an hour before I started walking. I don't like to walk on a freshly filled stomach. About the same rule you'd use if you were at the beach to go swimming. Don't swim until after about an hour after eating. Hi everybody. I want to say thank you for walking with me today. Say a prayer for President Trump and the country. Click like and subscribe, share the content, and God bless you. And really thank you for walking with me. I really appreciate it. I'm not monetized, I just like the company. So we'll see you on the next walk, friends. And we are going to be going to some sort of interesting places as soon as the weather warms up and it's more like summer. And I think you'll enjoy it instead of the usual walks I've been doing. So anyway, friends, see you later. Have a good rest of weekend, and God bless you. Bye-bye.